green light and away we go. The practice session for the Japanese Grand Prix of MotoGP is underway. Sunny conditions out there as well. Blue skies. Zarco Martin, the Prima Prima is just getting ready, and 60 minutes ahead of us to get into the running orders for Q1 and Q2. The top 10 for this session will automatically qualify for the next part of the qualifying format. Those who don't will have to go through qualifying number 1. So the rider's going to head out there as well. Good morning. If you're watching us live on Twitch, very well done for getting up early or staying up and watching us. If you're watching us on YouTube via the delay, welcome. Nice to have you as always for the crucial hour as the riders head out on the circuit. Let's check in then with the guys at TNT as we're into the session procedure.
Has joined us in the commentary box for this afternoon session.
We are ever so slightly jet lagged, aren't we?
We're starting to feel that way, isn't it? Yeah, they're long days these. So anyone who's joined us throughout the night, I know a couple of people have been in touch saying they've been on the night shift. We're not going to tell you bosses, don't worry. Just stick with us. Stick with us from throughout the rest of the evening. But we feel your pain as well out here. Even though it's only a 4-hour difference from India, you still notice it, don't you? As you get used to the conditions out here. I feel for Alex Rins, actually. He only turned up at 6 a.m. yesterday morning, having rushed to Madrid, got the all clear, said that the bone improvement that he'd seen over the last month, the doctors thought it was incredible what had happened, and so that's why he's found himself out on track this weekend, and feedback seems to have been quite good from him this morning.
I tell you what, there's something to be living at altitude up in Andorra for bone recovery. But yeah, he's obviously surprised himself and the doctors. Last-minute flight to get here in time to pass his fitness test yesterday, and surprised us all, to be honest, because none of us really expected him to rush back or even want to be on the bike here this weekend. But yeah, fair play, and he wasn't that far off the pace for free practice 1 after such a long period of inactivity in terms of MotoGP activity, at least.
And he is in a really strange position. He's come back, and there's only 7 races to go. And really, what is the point in helping Honda improve their motorcycle that you are going to be racing against next year on the Yamaha? So, I mean, what do you say?
He's in it for himself, his own fitness, his own touch.
Yeah, to keep his eye in, let's say, essentially. Yeah, I agree there. But it would be interesting to see how he interacts with the team with regards to giving... Obviously, he's going to try and get the bike that he's on and have the best setup for himself. But then with regards to... Well, I don't know if he'll be testing parts or not, if they'll give him anything new to try. Because you'd have to take it with a pinch of salt. Yeah, that new chassis, miles off, honestly, thinking it's actually better.
But do you think, was he sat at home watching India going, actually, that old Honda doesn't look too bad after all, whenever Mir and Marquez are looking a bit better, and then, yeah, obviously the scans came back, the results were good, and yeah, fancy a bit of riding again.
Got a good bonus structure in place.
Yeah,
fancy my chances. Now, yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it, on these tough flyaway races. And do you know what's interesting? We come to this point of the year. We talk about to the start of the year, don't we, about quirky tracks and temperatures and things that the riders, just strange inconveniences get thrown at the riders' doors over these rounds. And we're back in it again for these next few rounds. What happened with Pecco Bagnaia last time, just wasn't dialed in, it felt like, the bike over the racing weekend. I think Michele Pirro here is probably doing a team job over the weekend. Might be working on tyre pressures, working on what it's like in a slipstream. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, it could be.
His only job is going to be that, working for Pecco, isn't it?
Yeah, you never know. That could be. It'd be really interesting if he is. And if that is, I think it's a really good call. I mean, it could be part of Pecco dragging him round, because I don't know when Pirro was here last, but if he can hang on, it would be really good information for the factory team, because front tyre pressure is going to play a part this weekend on such a heavy braking track, and the ambient temperature for this time of year is pretty high.
And Pirro, actually on that lap, goes quicker than Bagnaia.
There's not, I was just thinking when you were talking then, Gav, about what we've got coming up, there's not what I'd call, sort of in brackets, a normal race coming.
No.
There's not one. because of this part of the world, the way the weather is, the tracks are quirky. They're not your standard European tracks coming up. We've got Indonesia, Phillip Island. You know what the weather's like in Phillip Island, and Phillip Island's a track on its own.
Anti-clockwise.
And it's got its own very unique, let's say, DNA. Don't get me wrong, it's a track people like, but you've got that. Then we've got Thailand, which is quirky track. Again, very, very hot temperatures. And then, is it Malaysia after that? Yeah, Malaysia and Qatar, which we haven't been this time of year.
But it always shows up a surprise.
Yeah, it does. And then we go to
different time of year.
Different time of year.
You know,
so
they talk about the dew point there is a bit of an issue sometimes.
Really plays a part. And then we're going to go like literally the last weekend in November. It'll be at a cold
Valencia, yeah,
where the world title could be up for grabs. So, yeah, momentum is everything. Confidence is everything at this point. There's no do you know your base setting for the season that works all through the heart of the season throughout Europe? That's sort of out of the window when you get to the tracks that we're now coming to.
Yeah, I can't agree more with what Neil's saying right now. But right now we've got Binder, Vinales, Zarco, Martin, Bezecchi, Fernandez, Ralph Fernandez it is in 6th, Miller, Nakagami, Polaspargo, D'Antonio. Rounding out the top 10 after the first round of 145.060. That is the time to beat at this stage of the broadcast. As they continue to attack through, continue on to push. As lap time deleted there for several riders. So already looking good. Binder's on a good middle sector time. This is going to be fastest as well. And he's following actually the gas Polaspargo, so it looks even better.
Be a tyre and a new hard front, but still went second earlier today. And you know, who knows what's going on behind the scenes. We mentioned earlier about Pedro Acosta, about the little noises that have been made.
Mia's had his lap time cancelled.
He didn't know where he was going to be riding next year, a bit of an aside, and maybe they do know. Maybe Augusto Fernandez has found out, and it's a case of, I don't know if I've got to ride next year. There you are. He's second in a session. Sack me now, go on.
But one thing we can guarantee, and we know 100%, Pedro Acosta is riding a MotoGP bike next year. That's been confirmed. That's official. We don't know where, do we? That's all. That's the one that we don't know. I mean, the gut feeling is he will be on in the Tech 3 team on a gas KTM. But that's not guaranteed. And what I say about that is, and this is just one of the paddock rumours, it's this time of year with back-to-back races. Some journalists, I don't know if stories are made up, you know, potentially Jack Miller's having not a great run. Would KTM think we might not sack him or put him as test rider, but just move him into the Tech 3 team and we'll get the golden boy? I mean, you heard John Hopkins talk about him this morning, which I thought was really interesting, talking about what he thought and what he's witnessed when he's at the side of the track watching Pedro Acosta. He said he's like once in a generation, incredibly talented. The last time I saw anyone like that, it's Marc Marquez-esque. So, that is a possibility. Like I say, it's just a rumour. Do I think it will happen? I'd probably say not. But then I wouldn't be really shocked, because to make a move like that, that's a really harsh thing to do. And KTM, throughout their racing history, have done made some hard decisions, some hard calls.
Yeah, they're not scared of making a tough decision that sometimes has to be done at board level, and obviously the Pure Mobility Group, a huge entity now, and they are a winning machine, whether it's Supercross, Motocross, Dakar, Moto3, Moto2, and now they're going to win MotoGP. They're heading in the right direction. They're building a fantastic bike in their own way. They've stuck with a trellis frame. They didn't go alloy like everyone expected. They initially built a bike that looked a little bit like a Honda RCV, but they've gone their own path in recent years, and it's impressive to watch. They're still in their own inbuilt suspension. WP is now owned by KTM, so I like that they're ploughing their own furrow. They're doing it in the unique way, and it's all developed. And obviously they stole a few engineers here and there, brought a few ideas into the mix, but it's all done at home in Mattighofen.
Martin's just gone fastest as well with a 1:44.724. So already the times are getting a little bit more impressive out there on the circuit, and that's exactly what we need to see. Continuing on with the calm effect and the push effect, and making sure that everything is a-okay straight away. But yeah, time effect looking good, everything else looking good, and fingers crossed they're going to have that effect run for a little bit longer. But as things stand right now, it is a good performance. It's a good attack, and two riders going off the track there. That's Miller following Marc Marquez, and both of them just going a little bit wide on the side of the circuit. So just a touch wide, just a little bit off the pace, but they're right back up there now.
It's true, isn't
You're
it?
not going to sit there and go, hey, listen, let's do the right thing. Let's morally, this the right thing to do is let's just keep
Polisvaga has been injured all year.
Yeah, no, no. It's £70 million business
For
a
generational
year.
talent.
Yeah, exactly. Are we going to give that generational talent like Marc Marquez was given? Because what rules were changed. He got fast-tracked straight into the Repsol Honda team. Get him in the main team. I can see it happening now. Actually, I've talked myself round. See what's happened there, Gav?
What, Mark's going to stay at Repsol Honda now?
No.
Because that'd be a complete turnaround. Have you forgotten which way you're going now?
No. I can see KTM making a massive decision, moving Jack into the GasGas squad. I don't know who would make way for him. Obviously, it's Paulo Augusto. And fast tracking. Imagine that, Binder and Pedro Acosta in the main team.
Who outbreaks who?
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, we'll just have to.
I'm only saying that
See
is
what
just
happens.
one of the paddock rumours, isn't it, Gav?
Yeah. Fabio Quartararo, can we have a word about him and his comments? We talk about people's comments to the press. Strange one, I thought, when we were listening to Nat interviewing him yesterday and asking about Cal Crutchlow and what he's testing this weekend. If you didn't know, Cal Crutchlow's here as a wild card. Actually put in a really decent performance. He was only 1.1 off the fastest time. Let's just get a look at the back.
It's quite a standard thing a rider does. You have a certain feeling for something, and you're like, you might clearly probably not have getting the grip, the bite he feels. There you go, exactly. He's spinning
still,
and you come off, you get off the back. It's in it, Michael. A lot of the times you would have you're like, I just need to have a look at that. You're looking, you're like, well, it looks all right.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like, what's going on with the rear tyre? It seems like I've got a load of spin. And then straight away, all the data engineers are on and they're checking everything. And
they're very methodical the way they work down there. I just wonder if, with the problems they had last week, if maybe just starting to get rattle isn't the right thing. That's unfair. I'm not saying that, but just searching for something, searching for answers quickly. I just want to get back to Quartararo quickly. What did you make of those comments to Nat yesterday, basically saying, well, Cal's testing 2024 aero that I've tested, Frankie's tested, neither of us liked it, so why are we sticking with it?
That's what he said. It basically said it's a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
What
did you make of it
because
then?
Nat said, it must be good knowing you've got Cal here, obviously testing, and he just batted it straight away, didn't he?
But trying to get into his head here a little bit, as a rider, you get a bit prickly because you see your factory not doing what you think they need to do. So obviously he's tested this aero body, didn't think it was a step in the right direction, put that in the bin, but perhaps they've analysed the data and seen something else. And we've heard it from KTM in the past that you have to almost rejig the base setting of the bike to work with a new aero body, so maybe there's more left in it, but it is a bit harsh on Yamaha. We know the factory will get a new engine for next year, change the character. They'll work on electronics, as Cal was saying. Electronics and engine is probably more key than aero right now. And yeah, Yamaha have had a lot of success in the past. They know what they're doing. They've got some new engineers in there. I have faith that they will bring the bike back to the front, but you can sense Fabio's frustration in those comments without a doubt.
Interesting enough, something I've just noticed up here in the commentary box as we were between thoughts there. Remember this morning, the fastest time for Jorge Martin, hard front, medium rear tyre. Well, everyone's gone with the hard front, but now they've all swapped to the soft rear tyre compound. So I'll walk you through it here. Martin and many others, hard front, soft rear, bar Quartararo's got the medium rear. Oliveira, Marc Marquez, Ralph Fernandez, Takaki Nakagami, Aleix Espargaro and Franco Morbidelli, hard front, medium rear. Medium front, medium rear for Fabio Di Giannantonio. And everybody else is hard front, soft rear. So there's a few little tyre compounds again changing around as Jack Miller 4/10 down at the moment on his own best Delta time as he comes up towards the line on the 43. for the Red Bull KTM and goes from 7th to 7th on 145.253.
Ducati, probably one of the best races I've ever seen him do. Control the race from the front. He actually said afterwards it was very unlike Jack, like it's unlike me to do out of a race like that.
Well, you just and in the current funk that he finds himself, although he did have a good sprint race in India, I will say.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, India was much better, having had just a couple of rounds where he was just slightly off where you would normally expect him. So, but it is quite a nice feeling if you are lost and then you go to a track on that you've won. Like I say, I know he's on a different motorcycle, but you have the feel-good factor when you turn up. So this session is currently sat in 7th place and is only less than 0.4 off. So I think he'll be quite happy with that.
Fabio Quartararo started strong here. He has knocked 9/10 of a second off his lap time from earlier. Martin earlier did a 45.192. He's also knocked 0.4 of a second off, down to 144.724. Inside Jack Miller's best race lap of last year. If I'm not mistaken, wet weather qualifying last year. Marc Marquez was on pole. I think it was slightly wet, wasn't it?
It was, I remember, yeah.
On the Saturday.
One thing about Quattro, just quickly, I'll add, when I was having a chat to Cal, and I don't think he'll mind me saying this, he said that a little bit of a problem with Fabio is he's got so much natural talent that he's not always, let's say, clear or the best with his feedback. It's quite a common thing if you can do, because of your incredible natural ability, doesn't always mean that you're a let's say a good test rider. So, and he said sometimes we've been led down in a couple of cul-de-sacs because of that.
That's happened before. Casey Stoner springs to mind, and Desmond Sedici that no one could ride for 10 years that he won the title on. And yeah, sometimes a rider masking problems can lead your development team in the wrong direction. Marquez. Sorry, yeah.
Mark could be an example of that, and then put on top that he's injured. When he comes back from injury, he still manages to win the odd race here and there, and you sort of think, well, you know, when he's fully fit, it's going to be all right. And what they basically found out this year, no, that isn't the case.
What I love, we talk about it a lot, you know, you watch the riders explaining the problems with the bike, looking at Jorge Martin there. Every bit of explanation is a massive exaggeration to your crew chief. You make big gestures with your arms and
the
big
bike's
movements.
Unrideable.
Yeah, it's the worst bike ever.
Are you sure there's wheels in it?
And it's so funny just watching, and all riders are the same. I watched the Moto2 session in Sam Lowes' garage, and Tony Arbolino came in the garage first. He'd done 5 or 6 laps, and just listening to him, the way you would think it was the worst bike ever, and then Sam comes in and you'd think his bike was the worst bike ever, and bear in mind both of them are a couple of tenths off. It's nothing. It made me smile.
Isn't that where the rider crew chief relationship's so important? They learn to decipher. So it's how bad is bad. Actually, you've got a sliding scale, and you do learn your rider. And some are a little calmer than others, but the majority, when you listen to them debrief, it's like there can't be a worse bike out in the grid than that one that's just come into the pit box right now.
And that's back to the Matthew Casey, who works with David Munoz. Created a sliding scale of a score it out of 10 because Munoz's English is not too good, and he said that works really well, because then you can go, I've no grip, what is it out of 10? Well, it's about 5. But if you come and go, it's absolutely terrible, I have no grip at all, which that's what riders normally say, you automatically think it's 10 out of 10 bad.
He rated your chat at 2 out of 10 on the plane on the way here to Japan.
I got sat next to him on the plane, and it was a night flight. It was a 5-hour flight, and he sat next to me and we were chatting, and he said, just so you know, no one ever wants to sit next to me because I'm the loudest snorer. I'm like, this was the very early Monday morning after the Bud Grand Prix last weekend. You've been on the go for, just shy of 20 hours, really. I was exhausted, and I thought, I could do without this right now.
Well, and so what you did was you almost talked him to death, because he called over and said, he's just trying to keep me awake by talking to me.
Yeah. We did order maybe 1 or 2 beers too many. How come you weren't sat next to me, Gav? No, I'm not. Yeah. Just the way it happened.
Yeah, it just felt like that. On board with Pecco Bagnaia. Let's have a ride around Motegi.
Bagnaia 6 tenths down at the moment and estimated in 17th position, but he's currently 19th in the running order, as you can see. Let's take a look at these sector times. First sector 27.587, second sector 48.099, third sector 117.216. So continually down on the overall times. Now listen down the back straight away. From 6th to 2nd, hard down into the braking zone at turn 11. Flick the bike in towards the right, under the bridge once again, then into left, 2 lefts, into the last corner, then a right-hander. Flick the bike in, get back on the power, rise up, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th as you cross the line. Bagnaia goes 13th, 145.43, so 145.493.
Turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, downhill segment there.
I love listening to that.
Me too.
And it actually, for me, it shows you how good the engine is. Listen to the electronics, there's very little anti-jerk, so naturally it's quite usable whenever you hear an electronic system that has to do like almost like an initial blip and then it catches it. The Ducati is really super smooth down low.
Sounds so soft off the bottom. Makes you just want to ride it.
Yeah.
Also, do you know what I noticed when you're on board?
It's Ralph Fernandez. Ralph Fernandez, he was just gone fastest as well in sectors 1 and 2. And I was looking to see why had he gone through sector 3, and that's why. He's put it in the gravel down at turn 10 before the long downhill braking section to turn 11. So that's before the danger corner. At turn 10 now, he's come out on 9, which is left-hander, turn 10, right-hand hairpin, down the brakes to second gear, turns it in, the front's going to dip away from him, isn't it, mid-corner? Yep, and away he goes into the gravel. Disappointment there, but the bike hasn't stalled, should be able to get that going again.
You're leaning in, you're trying to feel it. Whenever you do that, when you know you're being greedy, it's soften out all your sensors. It's like you are the front tyre. That's your only focus, is you're trying to feel it. The reality is, on slow corners like hairpin style corners, you don't get a lot of feedback, and that's usually what happens. You end up face planting. Yeah, the onboard, what I noticed is because of the aero is so good and the electronics are so good, is the lack of wheelie round a track like this, Michael. You know, out of all these hairpin corners onto the straights, it becomes quite physical because you are fighting it a lot. But you watch Pecco, the focus is braking it as quick as you can, get it stopped, and the standing up is, but they're not fighting the bikes coming out of the corners, having to get the weight up personally.
Yeah, massively different to previous era,
generation.
You really had to fight the wheelie off the corner, so at this point you'd be positioning your body to get across the front to stop the bike picking up, but now the aero does it, the anti-wheelie does it, the lowering device does it. It all helps and works in unison.
And that looks much more
that
like
was Pecco.
Pecco, wasn't it? The rear wheel out of line, but it just came back in perfectly to tip it into turn 5. I suppose as well, listening again, we talk about fuel consumption here and how you have to program and get ready to lean off. Your bike's not spinning up, it's finding the grip that others aren't, then you're gonna have more left at the end of the race.
Yeah, a massive part of the puzzle whenever they're coming to a really thirsty racetrack like this. So a lot of wheel spin, you eat up fuel. You have to control it a lot on the overrun. Opening the throttles uses fuel to control the slide on the way into the corner, but you lean it off too much, it makes the first touch of the throttle quite aggressive. So yeah, it's always a fine balance.
Yeah, it's one of those hard braking, hard acceleration. Well, how did you enjoy it? I know Neil Hodgson, I can guarantee if I were to ask him about his opinion of this racetrack, I know the answer I'm going to get. What about you, Michael?
Not a massive fan, to be honest. I always liked hard braking tracks, but I don't know, there's something just a bit featureless about this circuit. It didn't have anything that really grabbed the soul.
There's something a bit featureless about this circuit. Yes, the circuit. It's featureless, Michael.
Some people have liked it over the years. Some people.
Yeah, people that have gone well. But
Jorge Lorenzo's one.
Do you know when you go, people ask you, what's your favourite track, or what's your top 3 or top 4? This will be in your top 30.
No.
When you think of some of the amazing tracks, we've been fortunate, Michael, some of the tracks we've been on, especially racing in America, we've been on some quirky ones, haven't we?
Proper unique race tracks. Yeah, this, you wouldn't even wouldn't even cross your mind.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It doesn't register. What's your favourite track, Michael? I've never even asked that question.
Phillip Island.
Right.
Yeah, I think in terms of fun on a motorbike, it's hard to compete. Never mind the picturesque location, but just to have, no matter what you ride, fully sideways, playing with the throttle, you just can't not spin a bike around there. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, that's a shot. Oh, I love the reverse, the Scandi flick. That's gorgeous, isn't it? This man does it very, very well. What a shot, like gliding in to the corner. What's your favourite track you have to walk around?
Phillip Island was always the one. That's the one that I've got up on my wall at home.
And you, Neil?
Brands Hatch, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, of all the tracks, just love Brands Hatch full circuit.
Be wide here.
But yeah, Phillip Island. Do you know the beauty of Phillip Island was when you go there, and I was very fortunate to test there quite a bit. And when it was just you riding on the track, just setting off out of pit lane on a Tuesday morning, having a real surreal moment as you just drive towards the ocean, you're like, on a beautiful, calm, sunny day, you're like, wow, is this the best job in the world? No pressure at a test, you can imagine, so, yeah.
I have to say, Bagnaia might have had his braking woes over the last couple of races, Michael, but it certainly
Yellow flag, sector
looks
4.
a lot more like the Pecco that we've come
Could
accustomed
be
to.
car Crutchlow.
Worryingly so for this man. Jorge Martin will analyse the footage tonight and think, you know what, Pecco's back, so it is.
Gone green.
Bike's under control in the
No,
braking
no,
zone.
someone's
He's not
down.
missing any apexes. You're not seeing the
And we go green.
hop, skip and jump from the rear tyre on corner entry.
And it's with the medium tyre at the moment in comparison to times that have been set on the soft tyre. So you just can't quite gauge that, but that's Pecco doing the work for Sunday.
So right, this is looking definitely like a normal Friday for Pecco. Look where he's
he's deep
is.
there.
10th fastest though. You know, that's normally where we'd see him.
Yeah.
Because he's just not focusing on anything except race pace. Like I say, testing that medium, getting the laps in on it.
Ducati have had their successes here, including Jack last year. Loris Capirossi won 3 times. Andrea Dovizioso already. He was a winner here. Was it a wet race? Him and
Yes.
Marquez.
Yeah, that was the one Marquez passed him and into the last corner in that crazy move, and he got squared off by Dovi, the wily old yet again.
But that was the first one, wasn't it? There were a couple more Austrian.
The wily old fox. Hey, have we got was that an oil flag?
Yeah,
there?
lack of adhesion flag.
Maybe some things on the track. You would assume.
Not the water that you spilled yesterday as you were trying to roll down the hill, roll the bottle down the hill.
I spilled some water, and Gav's like, all right, if someone crashes on that now.
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's 30 degrees, so probably be all right.
Top 10 then at the moment with 31 minutes to go. Jorge Martin fastest, followed by Miguel Oliveira, Brad Binder, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Maverick Vinales, Fabio Quartararo, Johan Zarco, Marco Bezzecchi, Jack Miller and Pecco Bagnaia the top 10. Lap time cancelled for Marc Marquez due to exceeding the track limits. Has just come through. But Martin versus Oliveira, that's fastest sectors 1 and 2 at the moment.
Destroyed when I get off here. And you look at it and think, actually, it looks like absolutely fine. Right, so what excuse? This looks, as you're walking towards your chair, you're sweating, you're like, right, what else am I going to say? I might have even, this is a real confession, I've never even said this ever, I might have even after the checkered flag, tried to really, like, destroy on my in-lap, just to prove my point. Come in, yeah, still looks like new.
You know,
I've never said that in public.
You know,
That's
they could,
obviously a dodgy tyre there in that scenario, isn't it?
Faulty tyre.
you know,
faulty
they could see that data still. It didn't switch off on the checkered flag.
Oh, yeah, not for that, either.
Some fast laps been put in at this stage. Miguel Oliveira's gone with that big rear spoiler. Is that the wider fairing as well? As he comes to the line, Oliveira goes top. 144.498 from Miguel.
Decent margin as well over Jorge Martin. It does seem like at the moment hard front is working well with a soft rear. Whether that's good enough to go the distance on Sunday, you would expect it will last the short sprint, but yeah, figuring out whether the medium or the soft is the go for Sunday is important this afternoon.
Well, look, it decided the race in India when Jorge Martin went with a choice with the medium option, which was different to everybody else. This is dad in the background of Daniele Romagnoli, his crew chief.
This is good from Fabio Quartararo.
I thought he was really positive yesterday in terms of, look, I think if we can be competitive on a Friday, it means we're in Q2 and it changes our entire race. Almost like a little bit of mojo.
Absolutely.
Found again last week.
Absolutely. Yeah, when Fabio's been in the doldrums, there is nothing worse than when you're an ex-world champion and you feel like your hands are slightly tied. You can't say he doesn't ride the wheels off that Yamaha. And when he doesn't manage to get through to Q2, and then he doesn't get a great start, and he's battling for 12th and 13th, which we've seen on numerous occasions this year. Imagine what that feels like. And he's riding... Well, it was Mark who said how well he was riding back in 12th or 13th, pushing the limit, pulling some hard moves on each other.
Why do you think over the years that the Yamaha's got on? I know you got this section of racetrack. Fabio's always been a good late breaker, but you know, Lorenzo had success here. They've had 4 wins. Valentino Rossi won here too.
I always used to think that although they look like hairpins, so say turn 1 and then 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4, they're 2 corners essentially, but because they're double apex, you can't release the brake, roll around them. I always thought, you know what, the Yamaha turns in the middle. Likewise on through the hairpin here onto the long straight, it turns well, fires off because it finds grip, it turns good, and obviously that was where Fabio gained back a little bit of time on Miguel.
That's great. There, though, down into that. That's
nice little stoppy on the way in.
Yeah, exactly. He's on the nose, and then actually gets it down into the corner where you think, oh, surely that's not going to work.
It'd just be nice. We need, obviously, Fabio at his best. We need that Yamaha to make a step. I'm not saying it's boring where it's just Ducatis at the front, because obviously we've had KTM win and Aprilia. So, but we definitely need Yamaha up there as well as Honda.
And it's those characters, isn't it? It's Fabio Quartararo, it's Marc Marquez.
Big characters.
But it adds weight to Cal's comments pre-weekend that actually it's not all about the aero body that Yamaha are missing, it is power delivery, it is the characteristics of the engine. Obviously Cal's done a bit of test work here recently with, I would imagine, this generation engine and the 2024 one, but perhaps they've just got some better throttle maps and torque maps already written to manage the horsepower for Fabio, and it's looking like it's paying dividends here on Friday.
Has anyone else seen on social media the spare bits of the Suzuki being hawked around in Thailand?
I did see a rolling chassis or a complete one. Didn't have bodywork on it, but yeah.
Not just chassis, just various parts keep appearing apparently on Thai eBay. Whether it's genuine or not, but people are saying, yeah, that looks like...
I thought they'd been crushed.
Well, that's it.
That was the story.
So I don't know whether it's genuine or not.
You know who was in charge of the crushing?
Sylvain Guintoli.
No. Bobby, who was sorting the visas out. Yeah, definitely. I remember someone from Suga saying, Bobby is going to sort the
we all agree Bobby doesn't exist, does he?
Yeah.
Or she.
Taylor McKenzie mentioned earlier the story with the visas for India, which was a bit of a disaster for everybody concerned. Across the whole paddock, there was a gentleman called Bobby who was... he was responsible for sorting the visas out, and it sounded like he got paid handsomely to do said job, and he's not been seen since. So that's a joke, which is funny.
If you
like a lavity and you like, yeah.
A few extra airfares.
I wonder if Yamaha put any bids on those Suzuki chassis in Thailand.
Genuinely, that's why I was saying it when I saw Yamaha engineers on the screen. How do we get our inline 4 to find drive?
one man we don't see in the paddock right now, who is a Yamaha employee, Tom O'Kane, worked closely with Sylvain and the Suzuki test team. And you do think, likewise at Honda, whenever you see Ken-san in there, it takes about a year to 18 months to really actually be able to bring something new to a manufacturer. You'll slowly maybe bring your ideas and thoughts, and then obviously they have to be put into process, develop the parts that might unlock a little bit of potential.
That's it. It's not just turn up, right, we did this, shove it in the bike. It's and what it sounded like from Ken Kawauchi, for example, at HRC was, well, it was, wasn't it, Marc Marquez. Test the bike from 2 years ago then. Okay, now do the one from last year. Right, now let's go with this year. Just go back to the one from 2 years ago, and I want all the data at every racetrack that we can possibly do things on. And okay, and that's going to take me 6 months to crunch those numbers. Then I'll come up with a plan, and then it's going to take us 6 months to put them into action. And we're still in that cycle, aren't we? Really?
Absolutely.
But you've not got time for that.
Oh, Miller's gone down at turn 11. He's dropped the front end as well. Few little aero breakages in the gravel trap, but it's not too bad, and he's gone down. Let's see how he did it. Oh, he's lost it on entry, actually, so the front's tipped away as soon as he's gone downhill.
Very easy to do that. One of the most difficult corners of the whole season. As you saw yesterday, Gav, when we walked the track, it's so steep down there. There's no real positive camber. You can get caught out.
You almost do feel like, how on earth do you get one of these motorcycles stop down into that 90-degree corner? Showenzaka's already had one run off track here earlier today.
There's another one.
He's done all right here in the past as Zarco, if I'm not mistaken. 3 times, 2 1-2-5 wins. And in Moto2 he clinched the title here in 2015. He was on pole in 2017, Johan Zarco. Still focusing on that medium tyre, 23 minutes remaining.
Ditchy's having a great session, actually. We haven't really mentioned him. Again.
In 5th place.
5th place.
He had good speed all weekend in India. Complained a little bit about the lack of speed from his engine down the straights. Seemed to be costing him a bit of time, but his rhythm was actually better than his results suggested.
He said, unfortunately, yesterday, the same story that we've heard from so many riders. He said, I'd got a bad start, trying to work my way through the field. He said, I passed a couple of riders and then got to that situation where I was quicker than the riders in front by about 0.3, but I couldn't pass. And I said, what's the sensation then? So your front tyre temperature goes up. What's the issue? And he said, locking. I went, but explain, what do you mean? And he said, it's literally, as soon as you grab the brake, you get that like hopping sensation. And he said, where you would, as you grab the brake and then you increase the pressure, he said, you grab the brake and because the sensation is to hop, you then can't squeeze it anymore. And he said, the issue then, as you can imagine, he said, you're behind someone, and to make that pass, you have to obviously brake later. And he said, the risk level is so high. So he said, you just end up stuck there. And it
can't be a nice feeling.
No, it doesn't. No, it sounds horrible. Because it's one of the real difficult areas of motorcycle racing to control. That part. If you've no grip in that area, then it's like you're walking on eggshells.
Marco Bezzecchi currently running in 8th place here. He has gone with the softer option tyre, so probably looking at it as a race tyre. Well, he's continuing on that, but this is where Ducati have that advantage. They've got all the data from Bagnaia, they've got all the data from Bezzecchi, all the data from Martin. Crunch it down, which way's the best to go?
Yeah, look at the way the tyre, don't they? See how much rubber's gone, look at the spin numbers. You've got it there, it's black and white. Takes away any guesswork, doesn't it?
Thoughts on this year's helmet?
It looks really similar to last year's helmet. I don't know if it is the same one. Maybe they made a replica of it and they didn't sell well, so it's they didn't sell enough, so it's
Hawking it out again.
It's bringing it out again. Could be the case.
Slightly different.
It looks like it's more golden than it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm overthinking it. How long ago does this feel then, gentlemen? 2019, the celebrations of the 8 World Championships. At that time, we were like, he had just destroyed everybody. And we're like, this is incredible, isn't it? Watching this man walk on water, do wonderful things. We were talking about, well, he's going to absolutely destroy Valentino's record. No one's going to beat him next year, and he could go on and win for the next 4 or 5. We thought. Strange how things can change.
Yeah. COVID 2 years, through all the injuries that he had, coming back, and then coming back to a bike that wasn't what he left. So yeah, it's been a massive change, and he's still as motivated as ever to deliver another title. He does not want to stop racing anytime soon. So yeah, his future, whether it is on a light blue Ducati next season or on an orange Repsol Honda, I'm excited either way. But a bit of me wants to see him on a Honda again to keep the legacy going. But obviously, Ducati would be exciting as well, just to see him take the fight to Pecco, to the coming force of KTM as well, and Aprilia.
What would be really nice to see is who's the best rider in the world. That's what I want to see, and for that, I feel like he needs to be on a Ducati.
But then you have the worry about it being, in inverted commas, a Ducati Cup. Yeah, as in only.
But I think, like Michael just said, KTM are so coming.
Yeah.
Honda are in this period of. It's a good lap for Mark.
Good lap though.
Yeah, Honda are in this period of just trying to get back on track, no pun intended, as our Yamaha.
Goes third, within a tenth. You feel like it's going to be tight. Oliveira from Quartararo from Marquez. I don't think many people would have predicted that necessarily to be the way the session ends today.
No, 18 minutes to go. We're going to start to see some time attacks. I think that was one that, well, it was one because it was a new rear soft slick.
When you think the best ever lap we've seen around here was achieved on Bridgestone tyres back in 2015, and it was only 8 tenths faster, just under 8 tenths faster than what Marc Marquez is going around here. It's not terrible for Honda right now. There's definitely some signs that they're understanding how to move this package forward, even with its current engine configuration and layout, with obviously the rules locking it until 2024 before you can change that character.
And just think then that you've got no, what was that, 2015?
Yeah,
you got some aero, but not many people did. Ducati were playing a little bit with it.
It was one set of wings, just a little.
Yeah. There was no ride height device.
No.
There were no buttons. You weren't on a PlayStation game pressing buttons all the time.
It's got to all go. You feel like that's going to happen in 27. Do you know what I'm thinking about now when we talk about what's going on with Marquez and Honda? Is what I'm thinking of is all the machinations politically going on behind the scenes. From Dorna, FIM, trying to get manufacturers to agree, knowing that they've all got a right of veto inside the manufacturers, and really only if there's a safety concern can they do anything about it. And trying to get someone to say, let's get rid of all these gizmos.
I tell you what,
that's
Michael,
what we do need.
Yeah, I tell you what, Michael, I feel like that's coming as well, with all these crashes, with all these injuries, especially these first corner crashes, with riders starting the race with essentially flat front tyres.
Yeah.
The bikes are hard to manoeuvre when they're, let's say, fully in start mode. So before you hit the brake, if you need to weave, you can't.
Stefan Bradl said
Stefan Bradl, and you can't argue with him. He's sat on the bike, and he's the one who's crashing in turn one.
And
so
the manufacturer, we thought, maybe Ducati, because they developed the lowering device and they've probably perfected it best, they'll be reluctant. But when Gigi Dall'Igna is speaking about making it like a DRS system for overtakes, then obviously they're open to the consideration of removing it from a semi-automatic system as they've got it working now. And it's not needed. It's not changing the show, and obviously it does change the safety. You can see it dropping straight away there out of the V turn, but it's definitely affecting the safety and affecting the show in terms of the lowering devices, the front tyre temperature issues, not allowing the riders to overtake. So yeah, I can't see a bit of a upheaval coming whenever the rules are open to be changed in 2027.
And the riders aren't happy, Gav.
No, they're not. They're not. You speak to them, we see them around the paddock, and
It's a common theme.
yeah, something needs to change in some way. But I've said it before, and I've spoken to a couple of riders about it. Sort of almost need to speak to your employers, because I do believe it's the manufacturers at the moment that, not calling the shots, don't get me wrong on that. I think Dorna still, rule the roost on it, but there's limited they can do in technical regulations. That's been part of the previous bargaining. That was the post CRT, that kind of thing. Was okay, give us these things, and we'll let you still hang on to technical control, but we'll have a safety veto. Here comes a good lap from Aleix Espargaro. Tough weekend for him in India. And he goes to the top of the timesheets here. He's lost, I'd say, about 1 or 2 tenths to Miguel Oliveira in that last sector, but still it's enough to go top of the pile.
So Binder's second last year here, you would think he's well in the mix this weekend as well. I mean,
you'd hope so.
Yeah, his strong point has always been braking.
You tend to find, I think now, we're starting to see it, that, and then although I know he said this year they've been strong on tracks they weren't necessarily expecting to be, and vice versa, but their number crunchers, their data engineers are making their past work count ever more this year. They're definitely improving all the time, and it's a game with quantity of data that's coming round. Oh, someone's crashed as Brad Binder goes to the top of the pile. 144.2.
Yep, sector 2 is where he's got that rider's got down, so we'll try and find out who it is in a second. It's Fabio Quartararo at turn 6. Oh dear, fast one that. Martin goes second fastest, 144.279. Mia goes 8th, 144.615. But yeah, Quartararo, oh, he's okay, but the chains come off and he's gone straight down. So bike's gone, he knows that. He'll walk back, limping a little bit, holding his top thigh on his right leg, and limping a bit as well on that foot. So that's a nasty go down. Let's take a look. So under the bridge into turn 6, it's a right-hander. Oh! He lost it on the curb. That's a super early way to go down. And, oh, he tumbles 3 times over his own body and injures his right ankle as well. So turns in, and he's just going to drop it. That is a super, super weird section of the track to go down on.
You want to know what that feels like. That is not nice.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
As you called it, nearly just clicks
Super
fourth gear,
weird.
and he's ready to commit, and all of a sudden the front end is just not under him.
Now he's running.
He's running, actually.
Ripped over open his leathers. Is that in their arm?
Yeah, that's a
it
massive
has, yeah.
impact. That is huge. 'Cause it's just like you've run over some oil.
That is a full-on, well, more. That is extremely fast on a motorway and chucking yourself out, that one. That is...
Yeah. I wonder how fast that
No
would have been.
warning.
No, and the problem is because he's come out the corner, the front wheels like not on the ground. I'm not saying they're dragging, but front wheels going a little bit slower, and then you throw the bike in, and like say the tyre just washes straight out. Down you go. That felt awful. Crutchlow up to 12.7 off. In front of Zarco, Bezzecchi, Miller, Morbidelli, Bagnaia, Quartararo. I know it's early. There's 11 minutes to go. Not that anyone thought it, but Cal's not lost any speed.
Bit between his teeth.
I was talking to Jammy, his helper, and he was saying, I was saying he's a stubborn one, isn't he? And he went, you want to go cycling with him? And I said, he's still hungry, isn't he? He went, what do you think? I'm like, yeah, we can see it. So impressive.
If anyone has watched the Mark Cavendish documentary, as we both have,
I highly recommend it, by the way.
me too, you might as well put Cal Crutchlow in his position.
Cal.
They're so similar. The determination on that man, and even sound alike, don't they? Bit more Isle of Man from Cav, of course, but so similar in terms of
They are, the characters. Actually, I seen yesterday whenever Aleix and Cal were having a picture on track and they put on Instagram, just two washed up old cyclists, and there's Cav giving that little wave. Me too. He would have loved to have been a MotoGP rider, I do believe.
I think he would have.
He'd have been a good one.
He would have, wouldn't he?
The right attitude.
But if he speaks Cal Crutchlow, he'd have said, I'm a bit worried because he rides like, as if he had that feeling of being a MotoGP rider, but it might have been a little bit too fast.
Well, Cal would have made a good cyclist, as Cal, I think, would have made a good MotoGP rider, because he's definitely got the right mental approach.
Jack Miller up into 6th place. Pecco Bagnaia can only manage 12th on that run. A few laps, of course, been taken away because of yellow flags.
I thought that we'd lost him there.
Yeah, me too.
I think so.
Pulling shapes in there. Marc Marquez.
And again, missed that. Yeah. I just wish he'd try harder.
He'll come to the line and will lose a lot of time in that. Well, actually, only lost 2/10. Oh my goodness, the top 8
I've just spotted that as well.
separated by 0.17. Well, it's gone that lap, so it was 0.15 back to Di Gianantonio in 7th. You've got to be within 2/10 to be inside the top 7. Fabio Quartararo and Pol Espargaro are tied, 0.265, tied for 10th place. So as it stands, Pol Espargaro would not be going through by virtue of his second best lap. Nothing to choose between the MotoGP riders here at Motegi. You called it before the weekend, Neil. Just the nature of this racetrack.
Nature of the track, really simple.
Keep an eye on Digi.
Yeah, Digi's nearly 0.2 up halfway around.
And that's the rider, of course, who's not good enough to be in MotoGP, it seems, next year. Here he is, the number 49. Right on cue, on the downhill straight. Good third of a second underneath.
Do you know what? Braking's not his strength as well.
This is great session.
His crew chief said that a few times to me over the years.
Here we go, into the left and then the left-right.
He's the most unlikely motorcycle racer you'll ever meet. He's just a real quiet, calm, charming young man, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. That's going to change the complexion. It is. It goes top first right into the 43s.
Yes!
That is almost an all-time lap record from Fabio Di Gianantonio. Just 2/10 outside of Jorge Lorenzo's best ever lap from 2015 here. Wow.
Is that going to be enough to get him straight through to Q2?
I think it might be.
Me too.
With 7.5 minutes to go, because I feel like there's going to be another yellow flag.
Yeah, I think that's a big enough step, a big enough margin, I should say. That said, I don't know if he'll be confident. He'll still be thinking, I need to come in and do another lap. 7 minutes to go.
Everyone to go again. Only 2 were out on track at that moment, Digi and Augusto Fernandez.
Yeah, Mark was on another good lap after the first 2 splits, but obviously a new tyre more beneficial here in the last 7 minutes. Or is this the lap when it did go away from him, moving back the shape?
And then he took away, dropped into the middle of the corner.
Look, he's going for the rear brake, mate. Your rear wheel's off the ground. You don't need to put your foot on that. So you're wasting your time.
He still made it round.
Well, yeah, I think he might have been going a bit deep, but yeah. Anyone noble would have been in the gravel.
Oh, look at that, racing out, Marc Marquez, and Bagnaia seen him. So he's like, not coming with me.
Let's get out of here.
Get on my tail here.
Yeah, and let's make sure that Spanish rider doesn't get on us.
It's getting busy.
Aleix Espargaro, currently 6th. Where's Jorge Martin? 4th. We might get a new all-time lap record. The track looks in great nick.
Spotless, isn't it?
The weather's playing ball as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, last year was a bit hit and miss.
That's a rarity here, isn't it? Everyone's gone with the hard front, soft rear combination now. So it's clear. When we saw them on medium tyres earlier today, that's allocation management.
Yeah, it was never going to be the main tyre. It was too unpredictable, and we saw that with Marc Marquez. But now we've got the riders out there on the circuit, and everyone is going to be flying hard right now. Fabio Di Giannantonio, Brad Binder, Maverick Vinales, Jorge Martin, Jan Zarco, Aleix Spargo, Jack Miller, Miguel Oliveira, Marco Bezzecchi and Fabio Quartararo. That is the current running order as things stand. They're the top 10 automatically through to Q2. Paulo Spargo, Marc Marquez, Pecco Bagnaia, Johan Mir, Ralph Fernandez, Carl Crutchlow, Franco Morbidelli, Augusto Fernandez, Takiki Nakagami, Michele Pirro and Alex Rins. They're the riders who will have to go through Q1 at this stage. 5 minutes to go then. Let's see what they've got as we head off from racing now.
Sets off now. He had a sort of dawdling lap there, 20 seconds off. 5 minutes to go. Practice here for MotoGP. The time practice, our top 10 will go through to Q2. It's Fabio Quartararo, who is at risk after a huge crash at turn 6 earlier in this session. Oh. But Quartararo has just got back out on track.
Sorry, Gav, that was close to the green then for Bagnaia. Don't know if he touched it.
As Marc Marquez got on the back of Michele Pirro, didn't look like he was too far behind him. We'll see now. Yep, they can see how hard Marc has worked to get with Pirro and Bagnaia.
I think Michael might have called this perfect, though. He's going to get held up. He is.
He has been held out, yeah.
The idea, put Pirro behind him. And one, you're going to get help, but if anyone is trying out, track limits was hit by Bagnaia.
He was close, wasn't he? He's coming out of turn 2. Look at.
So Bagnaia's got track limits warning. He's touched the green. Oh, it's by fractions. Absolute fractions that he has touched the green there. Very surprised race control have been that draconian and on that matter, but that's the way it goes. Now, Aleix Spargo goes up by 97 thousandths of a second, 95 thousandths of a second up for Brad Binder. Oh, and there's the yellow flag in the third sector. Now, who's gone down? And it's at turn 10. Mark's gone through, so it's not him, but it's one of the crypto datas, RNF bikes, looking by the Delta. So, once having a look, Mir goes ninth, Brad Binder cross the line goes fastest. And it's Ralph Fernandez for a second time today at turn 10. He crashed it earlier on in this session down there, and he's crashed again. And that's put out the yellow flag. Binder goes fastest, 1:43.489. Binder faster by over 2.5 tenths, new lap record here at Motegi. Marc Marquez coming across the line. He's 13th at the moment. He goes up into 5th position with and lap cancel for the yellow flags. So now everyone's in trouble with the yellow flags. But Brad Binder, 1:43.489, fastest ever lap around Motegi.
Fernandez had been in the wake, perhaps, of Aleix and Brad Binder. So, Bagnaia has to go again. Marquez has to go again.
It's not helping them. They wanted a cool-down run.
And Marquez working so hard to stay with Bagnaia here, down towards turn 5, under the first of the tunnels. Bagnaia under in the first sector.
Marquez backed out, yeah,
He's only going to get one more go, but he might have had his chance.
Yellow sectors 2 and 3.
Might have to beat Q1 for Marc Marquez.
45-35, cancelled yellow flags.
Bagnaia keeps the pace up halfway round the lap. Remember, we've already seen
and the 88.
The lap record that stood since 2015 smashed into smithereens by Brad Binder. He's 3/10 quicker than anybody else as Bagnaia comes up to the hairpin now.
At turn 10.
Third split is on exit on the hairpin.
I
thought the cameraman knew something we didn't then.
I thought someone was down, but
third split,
looking good.
He's under still. This is a great lap from Bagnaia.
Bagnaia's finding the time as he comes in towards turn 11. He's 3/10 up at the moment. This is a mighty good lap time. Finally, we are seeing the deltas changed around. Marco Bezzecchi's P10, Paulo Spargo P12. Bezzecchi goes 4th, Pole P8. Bagnaia 14th at the moment as he comes across the line. Does he go faster? Yes, he does. Second fastest to 1:43.518. 29 thousandths of a second off the pace of Brad Binder's time. But still, mighty good lap time on the board. Finally, getting back in with the deltas with 60 seconds left of this session. Lap time cancelled for the 93 due to exceeding track limits. That was Marc Marquez. We saw him back out a few seconds ago, so there's no real surprise there. And Marquez has actually gone down at turn 1. There's that yellow flag that Gav was on about earlier on in the session. Marc Marquez has crashed at turn 1, and that now brings out the yellow flag with only 44 seconds to go. So that's going to spoil everybody's run, and effectively that's it. All done and dusted. Bye, bye, bye for everybody else's perfect lap time. Miller comes across the line. He's 11th fastest at the moment. Does he improve in the deltas? No, stays 10th. Actually goes through, but now he's going to have his last lap time to lead us. That's it. Miller goes 10th. Crutchlow 15th. Won't improve. Quartararo, yellow flag retrieved. Quartararo will be able to go through. He's gone 13th though. 144.623. Check a flag out soon. Bezecchi down in the sectors. Let's take a look at this. The flag comes out now, so checkers are out. And nobody on my timing screen sending red sectors as Nakagami goes right round the outside of Marco Bezecchi down at turn 10. Nakagami has spoiled Bezecchi's lap time. Yes, he was only 6/10 down, but Nakagami is fighting to go through here, and he's losing out on the time. No one's improving on the deltas, and that yellow flags might have cost them. Nakagami only goes 17th, Bezecchi stays 5th, Martin stays 4th, Brad Binder might have just had a new all-time lap record at this circuit, but Di Giannantonio, who did set that fastest time, dropped down to 6th place, so we've got 5 riders gone faster than him. Bagnaia 2nd, Maverick Vinales is 8th, Mia goes 12th, Marc Marquez out in 14th as well at Honda's home circuit. Neither of them go through. In fact, looking at it, no Honda at their home circuit goes through. The top 10 is KTM, Ducati and Aprilia. More Ducatis, Aprilia and KTM. The top Honda is Johan Mir in 12th position. Marc Marquez 14th. Takaki Nakagami 18th. Alex Rins 21st. So all 4 of the Hondas, both on Repsol and LCR, failed to go through automatically to qualifying 2 at their home circuit. And Augusto Fernandez lap time cancelled for the yellow flag. Talk about embarrassment. That is severe embarrassment. Their home circuit and the home Grand Prix, and Honda failed to go through. Unbelievable. Binder, new all-time lap record, 143.489.
Missed out on Q2, then missed out on Q1 through a yellow flag.
He's making sure.
Wondering this week,
yeah,
was he?
He made sure.
Wow.
He definitely bit the screen.
It is rare, isn't it, for Brad Binder? We know what an all-in kind of rider he is, but he's not a pole hound or anything.
Not at all. No, far from it. And it's nice to see Jack Miller managed to stay 10th.
Yeah, Paul Espargaro also going through on the gas.
So here's the running order then in completion. It's Brad Binder from Bagnaia, Aleix Espargaro, Martin Bezecchi, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Zarco Vinales, Paul Espargaro and Jack Miller. They are the top 10, automatically qualified to Q2. Out of the session having to go through Q1 is Miguel Oliveira, Johan Mir, Fabio Quartararo, Marc Marquez, Franco Morbidelli, Carl Crutchlow, Raul Fernandez, Takaki Nakagami, Augusto Fernandez, Michele Pirro and Alex Rins. That's how it goes so far in this session. In terms of what we've got coming up here on the JB Motorsports Networks, on Saturday the 30th, you can join us at 2:05 a.m. British Summer Time for MotoGP Free Practice 2. That is live on Twitch, delayed coverage on YouTube. 2:45 till 3:40, you can join us live on YouTube and Twitch for the MotoGP qualifying. And at 6:50 until 7:50, you can join us on Twitch and YouTube for the MotoGP Tizot Sprint. On Sunday, you can join us. Warm-up will be delayed, but then at 3:50 till 4:40, you can join us live on Twitch, delayed on YouTube for the Moto3 Grand Prix of Japan. At 5:10 till 6, live on Twitch, delayed on YouTube, you can join us for the Moto2 race. And 6:50 till 8, you can join us live on Twitch and YouTube for the MotoGP Grand Prix of Japan. You can also watch this session later on YouTube when it gets uploaded. So, an unusual qualifying result going forward. Binder automatically through as well. 1:43.489, a new top time here. Around Motegi. Very interesting situation ahead of us as well here in Japan. So, fingers crossed it's going to be a good session. Fingers crossed it's going to be a strong qualifying around this 2.98 mile, 4.8 kilometre circuit here, with 8 right-hand corners, 6 left-hand corners here at Twing Ring Motegi. Just watching Marc Marquez go down again. It's Binder who tops the session. My thanks to all of you for joining us throughout the evening. We'll see you tomorrow for all the action for MotoGP qualifying day. Thanks for your company. Bye-bye.